Let me just say, Berserk chapter 361 was super funny and quite exciting. Let me explain why in 4 minutes. Guts sees Skull Knight and says, "Oh, it's you." Skull Knight says, "Dictated by casualties." And Guts says, "Mysterious as always." But Guts gets cocky and says, "See, what you think? I have done pretty good for myself, right?" Skull Knight gives Guts a riddle and says, "You haven't seen nothing yet. People have to die first." Guts gets annoyed and says, "What do you mean by that?" Then this old man Jetfree shows up out of nowhere and says, "Your Majesty." Wait, Your Majesty? That's the same thing Guts was thinking and said. And Skull Knight was like, "I recognize you. You're that little troublemaker boy from way back in the day." And Guts is like, "Wait, Jetfree, how old are you, old man?" He says, "No time for that. Let's go on this journey so we can go meet the makers of your 2 armors. I think it's time to pay a visit." Guts is thinking, so the person who made my armor made his armor too? And all 3 of them go on this long journey where Guts is walking and Skull Knight and Jetfree are on animals, which makes it a long journey. At least for Guts, he's walking. Then the Witch Clan comes back into the picture. Shiverick, you know what? Never mind. You know who I'm talking about.
I'm thrown.
We're talking about the witch lady, the small one. She goes on an adventure with Morta and comes to find out she's afraid of heights.
Jesus Christ.
And she has never flown before. How can you be a witch and have never flown before? Question mark. Now Morta basically introduces Shiverick to her master briefly, then they go and snoop on Guts and the king. During the process, Morta introduces to Shiverick the same entities that they have fought along this journey to get to the forest. And she's like, "Wow, we fought those dark entities before." She's like, "Yeah, you gotta use them and put them to use somehow." Now Guts and Skull Knight and Jetfree meet up with the blacksmith that created the Berserker and Skull Knight's armor. And then the old man says, "Seems like your bud is still alive." And Skull Knight said, "It's because of your armor that you made for me, old friend, that I am in good health." And the old man said, "Good health? You're rattling in your coffin." And I'm telling you, at this point, I lost it because I thought it was a funny response. Then Guts gets a flashback of Got It, and it's because they have the same energy. Then the old man goes to Guts and says, "Seems like you've got some use out of this armor." And Guts wanted to be cool too and says, "Well, it's thanks to you that I'm doing this well." And the old man says, "Just because you're using it doesn't mean you've mastered it. So let's see what you got." And hits the armor. That's how it ends. Now I found the writing of this chapter to be very comical and getting back to the roots and not making the series so dark and, so heavy. But the interaction between Guts and Skull Knight is very entertaining, as you know and as you can see, because, the 2 of them always meet up at interesting times. And just because, Guts owes everything to Skull Knight. And, Skull Knight wants to see Guts survive. And there's a long journey ahead of Guts. Now, at this point, a couple of things that were exciting was the fact that Skull Knight is around and we are getting to see him interact with the people firsthand. And he's getting to see Guts and to see how strong he is and how strong his resolve is since the last time they met. Now, also an interesting question, how old is Skull Knight? This man has got to be freaking 100 to 1,000 years old. I mean, I don't know. But Jetfree is an old man, and Skull Knight has seen him when he was a child. So Skull Knight must be rattling in his coffin, like the smith said, which was funny as heck to me. Last is Guts really hasn't mastered the Berserker armor, only using it in clutch situations. So this will be interesting to see how he fares out and using the Berserker armor now that the smith has activated it. So now that this chapter has been released, what do you think we'll get next? Do you think we'll find out how old Skull Knight is? Maybe we're going to get a Griffith chapter next time. Let me know if you agree with me or disagree. We could talk about this in the comments below. If you're looking for some of the most amazing content, Mastermind Comics in the building can get you what you need. Be sure to like, subscribe for more content from us. Also, watch how Berserk will end while you're on this channel. You know you want to.
Yeah. Love my family, but I never acted like it.